Welcome back to the Los Alamitos preview show. Well, certainly the man who's made the headlines all over the country here the past month or two, Bob Baffert, becoming the first trainer to win the Thoroughbred Triple Crown since 1978, when American Pharoah was able to win all three legs. But what a lot of people don't realize is how great Bob Baffert did here at Los Alamitos and his background in quarter horse racing. Earlier this week, Orlando Gutierrez, our director of marketing and publicity, made a special trip out to Santa Anita to talk to Bob Baffert.
Well, we have the pleasure of being here with Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert. And Bob, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about quarter horse racing. You had some great moments at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Of course, we're extremely proud of everything you've accomplished here at Los Alamitos Racecourse and beyond. Just take us back a little bit to your early days when you were at Los Alamitos Racecourse training all those great quarter horses, some memories perhaps.
Well, I remember traveling from Arizona. I grew up in Arizona, traveling to Los Alamitos. It was like my dream to be able to go to Los Alamitos, and traveling with my father when I was just 14, 15 years old, and seeing all these great trainers there. And then being able to take out my jockey's license. Won a few races there. That was pretty amazing story that I could actually win a couple races there. So a lot of good memories, you know, from the paddock, from the infield, and hanging out with all these great jockeys. When I was there, you had the greatest jockey colony ever assembled at Los Alamitos. And so, and then years later, I finally got good enough horses to go to Los Alamitos and got to win the Champion of Champions, won that a couple times. And I really thought my career was never going to get any bigger than that. So I have a lot of great memories there.
And you mentioned the Champion of Champions, you won it twice, Shani's favorite, and also Gold Coast Express. I mean, when you see those beautiful pictures of that Palomino, man, what a beautiful horse. Can you tell us a little bit about what you remember about those Champion of Champions winners?
Well, I think Gold Coast Express, he was always my favorite horse of the bunch, and he was just, you know, he's a Palomino, he's got that odd color, and so he was like a freak of nature. But I remember that night, it was cold, it was wet, and he was doing just really terrific, and he left the gate so hard, and when he would break, horses next to him, because of his color, would like shy away from him a little bit, and he came down there, and when he held on, and he beat Cash Rate, who was the heavy favorite and a great horse. That feeling, I hadn't had that feeling again since I won the Kentucky Derby with Silver Charm, and the night that Gold Coast Express won, it was like I thought it wasn't going to get any better than that. I would reach the top of my profession.
And on the day that you won the Kentucky Derby with American Pharoah, you took the time to just mention Bobby Adair. It was something that hit close to home, everyone at Los Alamitos Racecourse. Can you talk a little bit about the great Bobby Adair?
Well, when I was younger, when I was like 15, 16, I wanted to be like Bobby Adair. I'd read all these stories about him growing up in New Mexico and being a jockey, and then being able to hang around with him when I was in the jockey's room. He was always nice to me, and so when I got to training, I finally got a decent horse, and you know, I put him on my first $100,000 winner at Sunland Park. And you know, Bobby used to help me a lot. He's the one that convinced me that I needed to quit riding as a jockey because I was going to kill myself. So that was very important. I quit the next day, and then later on, I quit training. I got sort of tired of it, and I actually was at Prescott, Arizona, working as a farm manager. And the owner said, "Why don't you buy a horse at Los Alamitos? We'll run it in the fraternity here in the summer and have some fun." So I called up Bobby Adair, and he had just won on a horse called Bishop Cap for $10,000 for Judd Morris. And so I said, "You should buy this horse. We'll sell him to you." And so I said, "That's fine, but you have to come ride him at Prescott," which is sort of a very dangerous track, by the way, but it's closed up now. But so he said, "Sure." So he came. We had the best time. He was a lot of fun. And there was just something about him, the aura about him. Everybody loved Bobby, and so he was like the Muhammad Ali of the quarter horse jockeys. His personality. And so we ran second, and then I ran him again in another fraternity, and he ran well. And after that, people started asking me, other owners, "Why don't you start training on your own? We'll give you horses." And that's what got me back in the game. And then from then on, it just went straight up.
Smart career move.
I'll tell you what, Bobby Adair was there for 2 times, you know, quit riding, and then he sold me that Bishop Cat that got me going again.
Well, thank you so much for your time. The great Triple Crown winning trainer, Bob Baffert. Back to the studio.
And certainly great to hear from trainer Bob Baffert, who also donated $50,000 after the running of the Belmont Stakes to the permanently disabled Jockey's Fund in honor of the late Bobby Adair, certainly an idol of his, and Bobby, one of the greatest quarter horse riders ever to compete here at Los Alamitos, passed at the age of 71 here about a month ago, and Bob Baffert still remembering and still idolizing Bobby Adair. And Les, I don't know if you were around the days Bobby Adair was a great rider. You might have started just after that, but certainly his name is a big name here at Los Alamitos.
I remember Bobby Adair as a jockey because I used to bet on Bobby Adair because he was one of the best riders in that era. But how about Bob Baffert? I mean, this guy never seemed to age. I mean, he's always been the same 30 years ago, even today. But Bob Baffert, maybe the winning is also the key to staying young.
Well, the reason he hasn't aged that much, his hair was gray and silver back in the 1980s, and is still silver. He's a little bit thinner than he was then. I think he's taking a little better care of his health, but certainly Bob, an old friend of ours here at Los Alamitos, and glad to see him doing so well. And of course, he saddled Dortmund here last year as well to win the Los Alamitos Futurity, as Dortmund went on to become one of the top 3-year-olds in the nation as well this year.